What up, YouTube Lakes, coming back at you with another Starcraft 2 cast. On the left-hand side of the map, we have our red Terran player Ramonoid, and on the right-hand side of the map, we have our blue Zerg player napalmEye. This is a Diamond versus Diamond level cast, so it should be a fun game to watch indeed. Now, for the future of my channel, I am considering posting some videos of my own gameplay from the ladder, just because I think it could be fun. I might do like a cheese series or something, just to spice things up a bit. So in the future you may expect to see some of my own gameplay. Now, coming from this Terran player here, we do have the supply depot just about to finish up. We don't see an SCV running across to the other side of the map, so it is not going to be a proxy. We do have the barracks coming in the main base of the Terran player right now. Scout running across the map to check out the Zerg side of things, and it does appear that this is going to be a hatchery first, so no cheese coming from either player right now. It does look like this is going to be a more or less standard game, and there's nothing wrong with that. We've been seeing a lot of cheese on my recent casts, so seeing a standard game will be a nice little switch up. Spawning pool coming down for the Zerg player right now. We'll start to likely saturate this base pretty soon here. Extractor is going to finish up as well, so I would not expect any sort of speedling rush or anything of that nature. This does look to be like it is shaking up to be a normal game. I was going to say that, but this SCV is looking a little okay. I was going to say he's looking a little sus, and indeed he is. He's throwing down a bunker in the mineral line, behind the mineral line of this hatchery right here. Consequently, these drones will accidentally spot this. This drone throws the minerals into the hatchery and immediately turns into a spine crawler here. These drones going to try and snipe this SCV before the bunker finishes, but it does look like it will finish. Hides in the bunker, comes out the other side to repair a little bit. Now this SCV just hiding in this bunker here. We do have this SCV just running in and out. I feel like SCVs can repair bunkers from the inside, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't play Terran too much, so Reaper is going to jump into this bunker here, but this spine crawler will finish. It's going to do a lot of damage to this bunker here. Maybe even be able to snipe the SCV. We do have the Queen here as well. It does look like this bunker may go down. SCV trying to repair it, but ultimately bailing. This Reaper running away as well. It has 0 kills right now. It will be chased away by these Zerglings. They will prevent this Reaper from doing too much damage. It could still do some scouting. Does kill one of the Zerglings here. Decent micro from Ramonoid. Keeping this Reaper alive here will heal up. Appears that it is going home. Does not look like Ramonoid even wants to bother with doing any sort of harassment with the single Reaper. So I take back everything I said about a standard game, although it didn't last too long. The bunker rush, not necessarily a standard play, and I feel like that was like a cheese light sort of play. Like, you know, the cheese that they can't legally call cheese because it's not actually made of cheese. They call it like cheese food or something, Velveeta or something like that. I feel like that's what we saw. We saw like the cheese food of cheese right now. It wasn't really that big of a deal. It wasn't a huge commit, but it was still kind of cheesy, so I'd call that like the cheese food of Starcraft, rather than just a straight up cheese. Zerg, totally unbothered by that push, is going to have the third base right here, just now established. This Reaper trying to do some damage here, almost gets surrounded by the Zerglings. Is using this as a scout. Good use of the single Reaper, is not wasting it at all. Ultimately does get blown up by the swarm of Zerglings here. Did spot that there's not much going on in the main base of the Zerg player though. This Overlord hiding here sees that the natural of the Terran player is getting established. We have some Zerglings scouting around. Scouting around the map right now. They will not see too much. I do like the position here of these Zerglings, spotting the potential third base locations of our Terran player. This Zergling checking for any sort of hidden buildings or proxies. Not bad. This is very good control from napalmEye, map control from napalmEye. Creating a blind spore crawler, which is never a bad idea as a Zerg player. Spore crawlers are just such good anti-air and detection in case there is some sort of cloak, banshee harassment follow-up from the Terran player, which is not necessarily unlikely. I feel like if you witness cheese in the early game and you hold it off, the player follows up with another cheesy play. We do see a fusion core coming down from the Terran player as well. Tech lab on this starport. I wonder if we're going to see an early battle cruiser rush. That would be very interesting. Fourth base coming in for the Zerg player. I feel like our Terran player should think about expanding here pretty soon. He's going to be 2 bases behind. Normally, playing against Zerg, you're okay if you're 1 base behind, but if you're 2 bases behind, it's going to start getting much more difficult for you to keep up in economy and in macro. Just the nature of how Zerg operates, economy and macro are closely linked, being the use of the hatchery as your macro. So, and we do see that Zerg is over 20 workers ahead of our Terran player here. Army supply relatively similar, but I expect that's going to explode for the Zerg player at some point soon here. He has a lot of bases on the map right now and is 2 bases ahead of the Terran player, so this may be difficult. And we do see the battle cruiser in production for the Terran player. So, not necessarily standard. All that talk of a standard game in the beginning of this match here, and I've just been proven wrong, but it is an interesting game, so I am excited to see what this battle cruiser might do. There's going to be a lot of defense for the Zerg player, but it's all ground defense. We do have queens, which will be able to try and hold this off, but it looks like Zerg might be preparing for some sort of Baneling bust or trying to catch Terran out of position in the middle of the map here. And here it is, the battle cruiser making itself known. Might take down this queen, and it looks like it will. Already down to half health, though. This spore crawler doing a ton of work, and the army of queens here chasing this thing down. Battlecruiser getting 2 kills. Not ideal for committing to such an expensive unit and something that requires so much tech to put out here. Does take down 1 more queen, but this battlecruiser is almost dead. These queens will be able to take this thing out if Ramonoid isn't careful. He is able to escape. Will catch this overlord here. Unless he lets it survive. He lets it survive. He should have come back and destroyed this while he had the chance. I do like the skin on this battlecruiser, though. Very cool. This does elicit a response of a Spire from the Zerg player here. So, with Corruptors, those battlecruisers will get shut down. At the same time, we do not see battlecruisers being built, so this might be an over-response from the Zerg player. Looks like Ramonoid just throwing down the single battlecruiser and calling it a night. He does not want to make more. Probably realizes that Zerg is going to respond with a Spire here. We do have a 5th base coming in for our Zerg player. This command center here not even fully established yet. I want to say Terran is going to be falling behind. We have 93 workers to 57 in favor of the Zerg player, with another hatchery on the way. This is the right choice. We do have a 4th command center coming in for the Terran player. This may allow him to catch up in economy here. Minerals, huge bank of minerals for the Zerg player. He is almost at full supply. This Zergling spotting the 4th base being built for the Terran player, and we have a swarm of Zerglings coming in. Where you see one Zergling, you will see a lot more Zerglings, and indeed we do. This command center should get canceled. Does indeed get canceled. Ramonoid able to hold off that swarm of Zerglings, but not before the force cancel on that command center, so he will have to reestablish that 4th base. napalmEye happily droning and macroing up. He is now at full supply with a huge bank of minerals in his pocket. He will be able to macro for quite a while. This may put Terran in a position where he just can't outlast the Zerg. We do have that single battlecruiser. I would have liked to see a repair on that. Looks like it was slightly repaired, but not fully. 7 kills on this battlecruiser so far. Will be able to take out these straggling Hydralisks here. On the left-hand side of this engagement, we do have the Marauders tanking a lot of these Hydralisk hits. This is going to be a very close match. I can't tell who's going to come out ahead. We do have the tanks on the left-hand side here as well, and it looks like Terran is able to just barely come out ahead in that engagement, but Zerg is going to be able to macro behind this very quickly. He's already almost at full supply again. These tanks just sieged up a little too close to the Zerg base and will get sniped. These Marauders also left behind, left to die to the swarm of the Zerg. This battlecruiser so close to dead. Holding on to 18 kills though, not bad at all for having built the single battlecruiser. We do not see more battlecruisers in production, and it does not look like napalmEye is overreacting to that initial battlecruiser play here. There's nothing in production. Here we go. Now we have some production. More Hydralisks and Zerglings. Unfortunately, it looks like Ramonoid is being pushed back towards his natural and main base. I just don't know if he can keep up with the macro at this point. He let Zerg sit for too long. We have another hatchery on the way behind this. I expect that this 3rd base may go down as well. Terran is going to be put onto 2 bases, to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 base of the Zerg player. At this point, I feel like Ramonoid is just holding on for dear life. I don't know what else he can do other than try and just destroy this Zerg army, but unfortunately more Zerg units are going to be on the way, knocking at this front door of the Terran base right now. I almost feel like at this point Ramonoid is holding off the inevitable. Zerg is just overwhelming him. This tank doing a great job at shutting down this ramp here. This tank, 24 kills on that siege tank. That is insane. Hero siege tank for the Terran army. We have a lot of banelings morphing in. They will likely try to bust through this door, allowing the Zerg to swarm into the natural and main base of the enemy Terran player here. And here we go. We have the banelings coming in. What are they going to do? They may be able to get past all of this. The tank will not get a hit in time. He does bust through this wall of the Terran player, allowing his Zerglings and banelings to run rampant. Ramonoid with the GG, just not able to hold off that crazy Zerg macro. He just allowed Zerg to sit unharassed for too long, and this is the symptom of that. You see crazy macro play coming out. We have 2 macro hatcheries in the main base of the Zerg player with what was initially a big pocket of money. So Terran pushed down to 2 bases. We did have that 3rd CC here, it looks like, but not established at all. So ultimately, not able to keep up with the macro play of the Zerg player and losing as soon as this wall was busted here by those banelings. So very interesting game. I think I would have liked to see a little bit more of a commit into battle cruisers. That is a lot of money and production to commit early on. So I feel like going more battle cruisers may have been the play here if that's what his style was, but I just think maybe there was not enough planning or intention in that push, and he didn't really know what he was going to follow up with, and ultimately just not able to keep up with the macro of the Zerg player. So interesting game indeed. If you liked what you saw, please give me a like and subscribe, and if you feel so inclined, send me some of your games. I would love to cast them. I will put my email in the description below, and I'll see you guys on the next one.